Hello everyone and welcome to the PlayStation Experience. So, I got to see all of the PlayStation Experience yesterday and my good friend Photon is there right now. Here's a picture with him with his pass. So he is on the floor and people have been sending me different clips of different things, of different footage all day because while I am stuck here in England, not able to go to California to experience the PlayStation Experience, I am getting to see all of the footage and a lot of people do wish me to cover it. Yesterday, I covered the trailer that Activision released for Crash Bandicoot. I had some criticisms with it, and today I have had different footage which I will be calling out the different people that give me the footage. I've had people today sending me the footage of Crash Bandicoot, or I myself have found the footage of the Crash Bandicoot gameplay, which features the opening trailer, the first level of N.Sanity Beach, and one of the later levels on the last island, Heavy Machinery, to see how the game actually plays and looks. And I had some critiques with Crash, and when you see it, it's a little bit different from what I said yesterday, so we're going to get right into it. So right now, I'm going to let you all watch the first thing that we're going to analyse, which is the opening cutscene, and go from there. So let's go and watch the opening cutscene first, and once the opening cutscene is done, it won't be me at the desk, I'll be on my media player and I'll be scrolling through the different areas of the cutscene to point out the different things. But let's get into that right now.
But, Dr. Cortex, we haven't determined the cause of past failures.
Moron! This Bandicoot will be my general, and he will lead my Cortex commandos to world domination. This time, I shall reign triumphant. We are closer than ever before. Quickly, into the vortex.
Dr. Cortex, the vortex is not ready. We have no idea what it could do.
Failure again. Capture him!
Uh-oh.
Prepare the female Bandicoot.
Alright, so that was pretty good. I enjoyed that opening cutscene, so let's go and analyse it a little bit. We've got the window resized so I can just skim through the cutscene itself. So from the opening, we get a nice shot of the island, so we get to see the island in somewhat of its HD remake. Again, I do think it's missing a few textures, like the clouds, stars and sky, all fine. The temple looks way too smooth, doesn't look that ancient, looks like it's missing a lot of moss, a lot of the old cracks, and still missing a few textures on the rocks. We'll let it slide. Then we move into the laboratory, which is looking extremely nice. We get a little play here. We've got a nice effect on the laser beam thing. Then we get into the characters themselves. So going to here again, I think the character models for Cortex and Crash are fine wherever they are. It is kind of hard to pause. There we go, that'll do, and just get rid of that YouTube comment. I'll read that in a bit. But yeah, it's I do like the character models. Again, I think that Cortex from the Skylanders Cortex is a fine model. There's nothing wrong with it. I think Brio, again, remade, is completely fine. Nothing wrong with him. We'll get to Crash in a moment when he's more animated. The voices, on the other hand, I'm not too much of a fan of. Like, I will bring up my downloads here and flick over to the Thumpin' Wumpa Islands. I do prefer the guy that worked on N.Sanity and all of the other previous Cortexes. I can't remember his name. I'll have to internal movie database it for you. I'll put it on the screen, but this guy.
Meticulous planning, preparations, and machinations have all built to this single moment. The fathomless, rhythmic energies of Woopa Island itself shall power my Cortex Matrix Chamber and create an unstoppable army.
Okay, so yeah, I do prefer that particular guy in general. Like, he has some really funny lines in N.Sanity. I mean, N.Sanity wasn't the best gameplay-wise, but music-wise and getting a laugh out of the chemistry between Cortex and Crash was perfect, whereas this particular guy here that's talking, we'll rewind it a little bit, but this particular guy here that's talking,
this time I shall reign triumphant.
He sounds a little bit too serious for my liking, and I get that in Crash 1 he was a lot more serious. They tried to make him a bit more of a threat than a goofy villain, and in the first Crash, you know, it was more of a, hey, this is a platformer type deal. You know, they didn't really have any story planned. It's just like, oh, here's a cutscene where Crash escapes and that's it. Now go through the 3 islands, and then at the end you get to kiss your girlfriend and fly off on the bird or the blimp, depending on which ending you got. So it wasn't really that cutscene heavy. I believe that the guy that plays Cortex in N.Sanity does come back for the second game and the third game, where it is a lot more cutscene heavy and Cortex does have a lot more dialogue. But for this one, they tried to recreate the original cutscenes where Cortex was a lot more of a threat and a lot more serious. So I guess I'll let the voice acting somewhat slide for Cortex, but again, the same could be said for Brio. Like here, I kind of like Brio's voice, but not really, because if we play it...
The vortex is not ready. We have no idea what it could do.
Okay, that laughing don't like. You see, again, this was kind of how he was in the first one. He was supposed to be like Gruntilda's Klungo, or, you know, Frankenstein's Igor. He's got the bolts on his head, and he's just kind of like, yes, master, I'm your servant. But he was still a scientist. He was still kind of Cortex's lab partner. He still had a somewhat of a scientific mind, and as we know in Crash Bandicoot 2, he does come back, and they do give him a better voice. So again, I would really prefer to see Crash Bandicoot 2, where we get the proper voice actor for Brio come back, rather than this one cutscene we're trying to recreate it. Because, yeah, you're trying to recreate it, and it's good that you're trying to recreate it, but again, without the solid voice actors that are going to be constantly talking to you, like how Brio constantly talks about you collecting gems, or Cortex constantly talking about collecting the crystals, or helping Uka Uka in 3, we don't really get a feel for the voice acting too much in this demo that they showed off. So moving on though, we do get a nice shot of the lab, and we do get a nice shot of Crash, and I have to say, now that Crash is more animated, and we'll see this a lot more in the gameplay, rather than that pre-rendered thing, Crash is looking a lot better than he did in Activision's trailer. You know, just from the back alone, they brightened him up, because I said he was way too dark, and if we look here, that is a lot lighter orange than the first one. If I go to YouTube, I was watching Jim, but if I just go to my YouTube page and give you that comparison again, you will see the difference on how dark he is compared to... Excuse me? Is YouTube crashed? I can't seem to get to my studio. Alright then, let's just try and reopen that. But I do want to show you, there you go, the comparison compared to the original Crash. So if we get this up here and pause, look how red he is. And then if we drag this to a sidebar, that is a lot lighter orange than that. You can see here, it's not quite in shot, so let me drag it over this way. But this, up in the top here behind me, is a lot lighter than this dark red piece of shit. So they have certainly made Crash a lot better model than the trailer. And you can even tell because they've fixed the face as well. Have you just been listening to my video, Activision? Did you fix this within the space of a day? I mean, I know they didn't fix it in the space of a day, but I don't understand why they made the trailer Crash look so shit, but the regular Crash looks more like the Skylander model. Like, that's pretty much the same orange. You know, this orange here it's pretty much the same as this orange here. And when you see the facial expression that we're going to do in a minute, so let's just find the minimize button and we'll get a good comparison again. So let's just play it a little bit more for when he jumps out the window. That right there, that's the normal facial structure. You know, if we get the side shot, let's get the profile shot.
Capture him!
Boom. There we go. We've got more of a profound jawline. We can see the jaw jutting out a lot more. Again, bringing back up this clip here, and we'll just move it down a little bit. We can see this nice round profound jawline from the Skylander model rather than this red piece of shit. Like, again, this really, now seeing the gameplay, and we're going to see his facial expressions and his movement a lot better in the gameplay. I really don't understand why they went with this red piece of shit in the trailer, because this looks more like this, not this, and this has a nice profound long-nosed jawline, again, nice long jawline like the Skylander model, rather than whatever the fuck this thing is. So yeah, and then if we just continue to play, so he drops and we get to see a nice, you know, movement of the jaw, and then we get the female Bandicoot. Torna, on the other hand, does look a little bit shit. We'll go over Torna in a moment, but the what are they called? Just the minions? I thought they had a name like Cortex, because they all look the same, and like in Crash 3 you see how they're made, like they're basically clones of each other. I think they did give them a name, but I don't remember. But pressing play again, the minions look nice and updated, you know. They all have different, or somewhat different facial expressions. Like this guy's like, oh, I'm not too sure if I wanna jump on this girl. I mean, if I do, it's her back. I'm gonna touch her ass. Whereas the guy that's just a few seconds, you know, in the dark there, his eyebrows are clearly facing down. He's like, I'm gonna get you. And she's like, oh, she's like looking over there, like, oh shit, he's a pissed off dude. So it's nice to give them all different facial expressions, despite them all being clones, and they do look a lot better than what they did in the first game. You've got a nice, you know, all of the different pieces, because in the first one it's all polygonal, and it just looks like a white jumpsuit, but here you can clearly see lab coats, trousers, shoes. There is a nice little line that defines that it isn't just one big white jumpsuit. So these minions look good. Torna, on the other hand, not so much. Like, if we are to pause on Torna here, can we get a good facial shot, please? If we were to pause on Torna here, we have a bit of an issue with her. She looks, I mean, I guess she looks as good as she could. Again, I do like the update on Crash. But yeah, if we were to look at, like, Torna here, it looks pretty shit, to be honest. You know, this is a model that they might want to update, as they have with Crash. But Torna looking a little bit shit. I mean, we literally only see her for 2 cutscenes, and then she turns into Coco, so, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter that much. And considering she's anthropomorphic, I mean, I know Crash is obviously, he's an animal that walks on 2 legs, but, Torna is more like Star Fox, you know, she is more like Crystal. She is definitely a animal that walks on 2 legs and speaks English and has a more human-like emotional face. You know, Crash just has the long protruding jawline and the goofy eyes, whereas Torna, her face, you know, the nose is a lot more flatter like a human nose, and the facial structure is a lot more human, so it's like this animal body on a human face. And Activision aren't furry artists. Like, they're not. We know this. Activision are not going to be a furry artist, and they're not going to hire a furry artist. So, while they probably do know of furries and anthropomorphic life forms, they can't draw them all that good. So, Torna's looking a little bit cringe to me, but, you know, we can get over it, considering she's literally only going to be here for 1 cutscene. She's going to be here in the prepared female Bandicoot starting scene, and then she's going to be there at the ending scene where she gives you a kiss, and you're never going to see her again. She has completely disappeared, and we're going to get Coco. So hopefully Coco does look a lot better. But with that being said, let's go into the actual gameplay. The Hoover, the vacuum cleaner is going, so I will just stop the recording here while the vacuum gets done, and then we will move on to the gameplay. Alright, and we are back. Vacuuming is complete, so now we will move into the gameplay, which I'm just going to mute for a moment. So, if we click the gameplay, excuse me, I just said mute. There we go. So now, if we move into the gameplay, we will go to have some music in a moment, but I just want to be able to talk over it without the music playing. And again, we see a nicer, more orange-looking Crash here with better facial expressions than the one in the trailer, and we get to see the first level in all of its remastered glory for the most part. Again, I really do not like the look of these stone platform thingies. Like, they need more cracks, they need more moss. See, the wood's texture, the wood's got all this cracks and moss on it down the sides here, but the stones haven't. It's an ancient beach, come on. But again, these little stone pillars up here have it, but these don't. So I think there is still a couple of textures missing, but again, we'll let that slide. It is only a beta trailer to show what it can do. Now, as for how the game seems to perform, now I obviously myself haven't played it, but my friend Photon has and a couple of other people have, and we are getting reports of how it plays, and I will point out the problems with it. Crash 1, now obviously we haven't seen Crash 2 and 3, which were analog compatible, but Crash 1 seems to have this issue of it was designed for the PlayStation 1, it was designed for a D-pad, so it doesn't really have fluent controls. You know, how you would expect a game to perform on a D-pad performs completely differently on analog stick. So a lot of people are saying there are a couple of controller issues, like the jumping. You see, you can't really jump up this rock exact without really forcing it too much. So the jumping controls and the actual control itself feels a little bit stiff because you are using a analog stick on a game that is not meant to be on an analog stick. So they'll probably have to work on that. So Activision, again, you seem to be listening to a couple of things. So listen to fix the controls a little bit, tighten them up a bit for the whole D-pad to analog transition. Now again, it could very well be that these controls work perfectly for Crash 2 and 3 because they are analog based, but it's quite hard to tell. Now, as for everything else, you know, the flashing mask effect, the actual icons, like how we picked up a Crash logo there, look completely fine. The warning sign box looks completely fine, and they have brought back all the death animations, like the shoes flying up there. And I do know about the checkpoint system that we'll get into more in Heavy Machinery. The turtle, as you can see jumping on it, he looks good. He's a fine model. He looks perfectly fine jumping on him. But yeah, the one other thing that people are complaining about, and I can see why. I mean, it's not really a complaint, it's more of a nitpick, but I can see why it would break the flow a little bit, if you get what I'm saying, is the collection rate. So I want this footage here to pick up some more apples, so if we can just like avoid the turtle please, and pick up some apples or one fruit, you'll notice that when you collect them, I more want to show you a pile of them. Unlike the original Crash, where you just pick them up instantly, you know, the second you touch them, it's just like shoo, 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 pick them up. If they are on the floor, like single ones in boxes, as you can see, are perfectly fine. But if you hit a question mark box and you get a big collection of them, then you have this issue where it can't load them all, and it just kind of like stops you. And I want to try and show that off, so we'll spin on to Heavy Machinery, or I would like to have spun on to Heavy Machinery, but I do want to show off the end of the level at least. So there's the end of the level. And another thing we can do is pause here. Now again, I want to bring this up more in the checkpoint area of things. Oh, there you go. You see how it's really slow on the pickup there? Like he had to run over it 2 or 3 times in order to actually pick up the fruits. We'll show that off more in Heavy Machinery. But if we are to go to the ending here, we can see a extremely beneficial thing that they've added to Crash 1. That is the box counter. Not only the box counter, but a box counter that takes into account checkpoints. So originally, to get the gem, you had to get through the level and break every single box without dying. Checkpoint. If you got a checkpoint, all the boxes behind you respawned. Any box you broke came back. So you had to have one perfect run to get the gems, which was quite frustrating. But it looks like here, all you need to do is get all the boxes to get the gem. And I've had people that have 100%ed this level and activate the ghost box, we'll call it. They did indeed get the gem. Now, what is interesting is if you jump into the spinning vortex after dying, it'll make the few thing. But if you do it while you're in the if you do it while you're in 100% mode, extra life mode, I guess, it will go yes, and it'll say, but you missed this many boxes. So what a lot of people are assuming is there are actually 2 gems per level. You've got your standard ghost box, which is break all the boxes and get the gem out of the ghost box, but there's also a potential secret gem from the, hey, you broke all the boxes and you did it in a single life. So now we're going to skip on to Heavy Machinery. Oh, I missed it there. Let's just skim back to Heavy Machinery. So yeah, there's the few thing, and yeah, you missed a couple of boxes. So a lot of people are assuming that you have a, oh, you missed a couple of boxes secret gem, but also the one on the outside of the portal, which is like the ghost gem. So people are thinking there might be 2 gems per level, which will be kind of interesting. But now we're going to spin on to Heavy Machinery, which looks absolutely amazing. This is the level that is clearly finished. You know, I keep pressing the pause button and it's not pausing, but we've got this glowing green goo, all nice and shaded. All of the metal plating is nice and rusted. And if we continue onwards here, you can see that all of the robots are fully glowing in the parts they need to be glowing, and are also fully shaded. Like, this level is clearly a finished level that isn't missing any missing textures. The ice, you can see the nice smoke coming off the ice. So yeah, this is a level that is clearly finished and looks amazing. And I will be now changing over to someone that is talking, because I want to actually have sound. Sorry, don't know what happened there. We had a little bit of a technical issue, but that's fine. So I have now unmuted the video, and you are going to hear Nuke Dukem talking, but I want you to more listen to the audio that's provided. Now, you might notice the entire video has been Nuke Dukem. I do want to credit him, but more at the end when we're not analysing, and I'll be linking to his channel and stuff, but we'll give credit at the end. So I'm just going to be quiet for a minute and let him speak, but I more want you to listen to the music in the background, because all the music has been remastered to an insane degree. Again, I'll talk about the music and his crediting at the end, but just have a quick listen to him and the music.
Go, knock this crate. Okay. Just gotta make sure I get this. Knock this. Okay, stand above here to protect ourselves with TNT. Oh my gosh, it still hurts you. Okay. Noted. So we get 3 of those, oh gosh. Sorry, Crash. If you get 3 of those coins, you get the bonus secret level. The controls feels a lot different. Well, I don't know. I haven't played on D-pad in a while, so it's kind of hard to get used to D-pad. And this game doesn't feel,
Okay, so that was the music. So let's re-mute him for a minute, and I want to analyse the rest of the Heavy Machinery music. And he was talking about the controls, which I've heard from him, Photon, and a lot of other people. But let's continue to just play the video through while we talk about the music. So yes, as you did hear, the music has been completely... And there, look, do you see how it's slow? I just had to point that out. Did you see how hard it was for him to pick up all of the different fruits? Like, he had to stand over it rather than it collecting instantly. That's a problem that a lot of the old Crash fans are having, where when you drop a crap ton of fruits, it takes a while to pick it up, so it doesn't feel as fluent as the old Crash. We'll see it here as well there. You see how he had to stand over that last one, so it's not quite as fluent. But as you did here, and just pause that image right there, where you've got the glowing blue ice, the glowing red fire, and the glowing green toxic waste. That looks so beautiful, so amazing. So let's continue to watch the video. I just wanted to point out, this is what Crash should look like, the fully shaded version. Whereas N.Sanity Beach, where it's missing a couple of textures and shaders, they really need to finish this off. But if every level eventually gets finished to this standard, this is going to be great. But yeah, as I was saying, if you were listening to when Nuke Dukan was speaking, you did hear the music completely remastered. So it's all of the old soundtrack completely redone and remastered to an absolutely amazing quality. So I've got the original soundtrack on the computer. You know, if I ever need to use any of the soundtrack, and I like the how the bonus tokens and extra lives and stuff spin. I'll just point that out while we're here. But yeah, I have the old soundtrack. I lost track there, but I have the old soundtrack on my PC. So if I ever need to use it for a video, I've got the soundtrack. Or if I ever just want to listen to it, I've got the soundtrack. But obviously, it's kind of compressed. It's very 64-bit or whatever the PlayStation 1 run at. But hearing this, it's like, oh my god, my Crash Bandicoot soundtrack is about to get completely replaced with every... Oh, and look, there's Crash turning into an angel, because they added all the death animations from Crash 2. That was another thing that I needed to bring up, but I was waiting for this point to do it. But yes, they've added all the death animations from Crash 2 as well, where, like, you can turn into an angel and all of the other stuff. But yeah, the soundtrack's been completely remastered, and now it's like, oh shit, I can't wait for this game to come out. That means every single person is going to be downloading and ripping all of the MP4s out of the game, and the Crash Bandicoot soundtrack, if we ever use it in videos, is going to get a major overhaul. So let's continue with the level and show off... Oh, got hit again. But let's continue with the level and show off the bonus area, because the bonus area has quite an interesting connection. Oh, and look, you can see all of the tokens and stuff. Let's just pause that a second. Let's just give that a little bit of a pause. Now, this was in the original to a degree, like we saw the one fruit, how many tokens we had at the bottom, and boxes, but now we can see how many boxes we've got throughout the level, which is a major upgrade, and all of the tokens and icons just look so much nicer. But speaking of the tokens, now let's actually talk about the boxes, because now we're in the later level and we've hit a checkpoint. I did bring it up earlier, but the earlier level didn't have a bonus level. But let's talk about the boxes and the bonus levels. So first of all, the checkpoint system has been added into Crash 1, so you no longer have to do the level in one perfect run to get the boxes, but also, or to get all the boxes in one perfect run to get the gem, but also in the Heavy Machinery level where a bonus exists, the bonuses have to be completed now, because as you can see, he had 86 boxes to collect. Now, I've played Crash Bandicoot 1 quite a lot, and I can tell you how many boxes are in each level pretty much. You know, if you play Crash 1 enough, because it was a good game, you know where all the boxes are. You know how many boxes there is, and you know where they all are, so that you can get the gem most of the time, except in Lights Out and Fumbling in the Dark, because fuck those two levels. But there is not 86 boxes in Heavy Machinery. However, it says there's 86 boxes now, and I'm like, that's not right. I know where the boxes are in Crash 1. There ain't 86 boxes. But then, we get the bonus. So when you get the bonus, a bonus warp pad activates close to where the final token is, and it brings us into the bonus level where it says 1 out of 19 boxes. Now, when you die, in the original, you died, that's it, you couldn't save. But the bonus platform is still there to have another go at it. It's still swirling, you can still attempt it again. And after looking back through Heavy Machinery and counting the boxes, you need them 19 to get the gem. So now the bonuses have an actual purpose. You're going to get a crap ton of extra lives out of the bonus area, but you also need to hit every box in the bonus area to get the gem at the end. So that's made the bonuses more useful, because in Crash 2 and 3 you needed to hit the bonuses to get the gem, but in Crash 1 you didn't. So bonuses became a lot more prevalent and a lot more useful in Crash 2 and 3 to A, rack up a load of extra lives because the bonuses usually have extra lives, but B, to also get the gem. And now they've added that into Crash 1, so that is a great little addition, and you get like 4 or 5 at the end if you do make it to Torna at the end of the stage. So I might just spin on through his footage here to see if he makes it to Torna. I don't think he does. I think he gives up halfway through. Bounce. Just go for Torna. Just go for Torna. So yeah, there she is. And again, I don't really like her model. If we just quickly give it a pause, back it up a little bit, but if we just quickly give it a pause, again, I'm not too much of a fan of how Torna looks. I think the model's a little bit crappy myself, and this bonus doesn't actually have any extra lives, which is strange because normally there's 2 or 3 extra lives at the end of every bonus in the original. But anyway, spinning on, I think he just keeps going till he gets it. And then Torna obviously says, actually, what does she say? Because it's not a save feature anymore. Oh, she just cheers. She's just like, yeah. And then she gets sucked up back into the sky, so she gets abducted, and you get returned to the Heavy Machinery level. And of course, the bonus platform is no longer accessible, so you better make sure that you get all the boxes in the bonus level, because as you can see, those boxes have added to his score. So it's nice that the bonus levels are now actually useful and do something. And oh my god, the shading on those fire pipes, as well as like the steam geysers, it looks so good. So let's just spin through here, because this is pretty much the end. We have analysed every level, and now all those 21 boxes are saved, by the way, in the whole checkpoint scheme. The 21 boxes are now completely saved, so if he dies, he will still have the 21 boxes, which is a fantastic feature. But yeah, so now I'll just let this play through so that we can come to the final conclusions on the controls and stuff, and now actually seeing Crash moving around, because as I say, the Crash in the trailer looked horrible, but this one moving around, jumping and spinning, it's a nice shade of orange. It's not that absolutely putrid red. I mean, we are in a darker area, so it looks red here, but in N.Sanity Beach that we saw moments ago, he was the correct orange, which is nice. He's got a nice long nose and profound jaw, unlike the original trailer model. I don't know what they were fucking doing with that trailer model. And it looks a lot nicer. It looks a lot more like the Skylanders model, or indeed the original Crash Bandicoot 1 model, which I'm very happy for. I'm really glad they didn't go with that putrid red thing. So yeah, it's looking, the model itself and the game is looking really fantastic. In terms of the game, the shaders, like this green goo, the glow on that green goo looks so nice, and all of the machinery looks so nice. Like, this level is clearly a finished level, unlike N.Sanity Beach. So in terms of how the game looks, it's looking absolutely amazing, barring a few missing textures and a few missing shaders in certain areas. But in terms of, like, as your first draft, this looks amazing for a first gameplay trailer, first gameplay demo draft thing. So it's looking great. In terms of the music, it's looking great. Like, a lot of people are going to be downloading and ripping this soundtrack to use on their iPods or using videos. I know I certainly will be using the HD soundtrack over the original soundtrack, because it is the original soundtrack, just in a higher quality. And yeah, and the only other thing from there is the gameplay, which a lot of people are having some issues with the first one, but again, we haven't seen the second one, so I want to see how the second one plays out, and we're at the end of the video here. Please go away, YouTube comment. We're at the end of the video here, so I'm just going to stop it. But in terms of the gameplay, a lot of people are saying the analog stick feels unnatural. This game was made to be used by D-pad only, and using a D-pad would be more comfortable, and they wish that they could actually switch to using a D-pad. Now, I'm hoping in the final version, again, Activision, if you are truly turning over a new leaf, please listen to this statement. I hope that you do have an option for those people so that you could use analog stick or D-pad, whichever makes you feel more comfortable. If not, and it's just one complete control system, because this control system works with Crash 2 and 3, which are in 3D and work a lot better, the controls are a lot more fluent in 2 and 3, then I can't say I'll be mad. It's just something people are going to have to get over. And that's not me defending Activision or doing a Star Fox Zero where it's like, oh, you just got to get used to the controls. No. It's because it is an entire, you went from PlayStation 1, there's not even an analog stick. Analog sticks don't exist. We're still on NES controls here with D-pads, to a system that had full analog D-pad support. So it is two different control schemes. So it's not really like you can mesh them together. It's kind of like, do you want NES? Think about it like GameCube that doesn't have a D-pad. It's like, do you want NES or do you want a control stick? Do you want a D-pad or a DualShock? You can't really mix them. So I know Crash 2 uses the analog stick. Crash 3 uses the analog stick. So if they have based the entire control scheme around a fluent Crash 2 and 3, while it's going to be annoying for a lot of people that you can't use the D-pad on the first one, people might have to get over it just because of the second and third one. And in my opinion, again, I think Crash 2 is the best one. 3 is still pretty good, a little bit repetitive, but I think Crash 2 and 3 are far superior, and this is just a nice little intro. And if the controls are used in Crash 2 and 3 and they're a lot more fluent, then that's great. So there you go. Activision, if you can add a D-pad support, then please do for the people who want it. If not, I can see where you're coming from. As for the actual gameplay, it looks like Crash. A lot of people are saying it does feel clunky, and a lot of people are saying you need to make the fruit just collect instantly. We have seen many instances of it. If I just scroll back through the video for 2 seconds to wrap this up, well, we have seen many instances of it where there was a full box of fruit. Where's a full box of fruit? Well, whatever. I'll just play it and hopefully we'll see one along the way. But, a lot of people are saying that it needs to be a little bit more responsive. If you find a full box of fruit, it usually takes 2 or 3 jumps to collect it all. Like, I think it's a lot further back than this. But it does take like 2 or 3 jumps to collect the entire amount of fruit, which a lot of people don't like. Yeah, I think there's one just after this, isn't there? And that needs to change. Like, you need to make the fruit pick up. Even that one there seems to pick up slightly slower. And that kind of kills the speed that the original Crash wanted. So you really need to... Here you go. You see how slow it is? Just trying to pick it up. People don't like that. They want that to be more responsive. When that box busts open, they just want it to be like, do. Picked it all up instantly. So if you can make the fruit pick up a little bit faster and add back to that fluentness that the original Crash had, then you're doing a solid. So try and make that happen. But overall, though, number one, is looking good. Now, I would have really liked them to have a medley. Rather than just N.Sanity Beach and Heavy Machinery, I would have liked to have seen N.Sanity Beach, let's just say, I'm trying to think of like different levels to not just show off beach areas again. But I would have liked to have seen, say, N.Sanity Beach, a beach level for the first one, a nice snowy area or a nice water, river, rapids area like plant food from the second one, and then maybe like the medieval level or the dinosaur level from the third one, so we get a taste of all three games rather than just the first one. Now, that might be because only the first one's finished. Again, we're not going to get a full release date till E3 next year, so June next year is when we're getting a release date, because it will take a while to make all three games. So maybe only the first one is close to completion and they haven't even started on the second or third one yet. I mean, you could have easily made one level from the second and third one to give everybody a taster, but if you want to completely finish one, then move on to two, completely finish two, then move on to three. Sure, again, I'll extend that and give you that, but as for now, number one is looking pretty good. I am getting more and more convinced that maybe Activision is truly turning over a new leaf. They are in the shitter. Blizzard is at their doorstep ready to buy them out because, again, Ghostbusters was a failure, the Turtle game was a failure, Call of Duty was a failure, the next Skylander game is the last one, then they're cancelling the series. So if they are really ditching absolutely everything to turn over a new leaf, the gameplay footage that we have seen, the gameplay that people have played and have reported to me, which is pretty damn good, is signs of them turning over a new leaf. And I am inclined to definitely extend a hand of friendship to you, Activision. Not completely. Again, I need to see all three games in their entirety at E3. I need to play this shit for myself to believe this shit. And a lot of people are still skeptical. Like, I've seen a couple of videos saying, is the HD series going to be bad? And people pointing out some things, like how the controls are a little bit clunky. So, a lot of people are still very skeptical. I'm one of them. But, like those people that are saying and making videos of, is Crash N.Sanity Trilogy bad? We are thinking that you could do this. You could pull this out. So, don't let us down, Activision. So that's the end of the video, and of course we are going to credit the fantastic people. So first I would like to thank my buddy Photon, who is on the PlayStation Experience floor right now, providing all the coverage right now. He's obviously there with his camcorder, and he is like recording interviews with people, he's talking to people. Those will be up when he comes back, but he has been telling me about all of the footage, all of the games he's played. Like, he has physically played the Crash Bandicoot, and he was telling me how it feels to play. Obviously, Nuke Dukem is telling me how it plays. There's a lot of people that are sending me all, this is how it plays, this is how it feels, and these, like, Parappa the Rapper HD. I didn't even know Parappa the Rapper HD was a thing, but obviously a couple of you guys on Twitter said, hey, Parappa the Rapper HD's a thing, go check it out. So obviously I'm going to check that out, and I have checked that out, and it's pretty good, and we'll be covering that next. So I had a lot of people telling me about the game, and a lot of people telling me about how the game plays, and then I needed some footage, so I got the intro off YouTube, and then I got the actual gameplay from Nuke Dukem here. So I'd just like to credit Nuke Dukem for recording this amazing gameplay, and if you want to check Nuke Dukem out, then please do go and check out his channel. I'll leave a link to it below. He is a very good content creator, probably certainly a lot better than me, considering his, it always seems to be that when you have these little thumbnail logo things in the corner, if we just press play, when they have these little ghostly thumbnail things up there in the corner, that's when you know that they're a good content creator. That's when you know that they've got the shit right, because they're like, I'm gonna put this little logo in the corner. I'm a professional. I do all the good shit. Maybe I need to start getting a logo. Maybe I need to get like the little S to like get an I with all purple and gold, and then get the S with the little pointy tail thing and my crown across the top and maybe some horns. Maybe I need to get a little logo in the corner. Show that I can just be as good. But yeah, so he is a very good content creator. I do watch him on the regular, and he has done some amazing footage that we have analysed here. And yeah, I'm almost behooved, considering the actions that Activision have done in the past. I'm almost behooved to say it, but it's hard to even say it. But good job, Activision. Oh, that was painful. That was painful. Knowing all the shitty things they've done, that was painful. That was physically painful to do and physically hard. But I have to give them credit. Good job, Activision. You done. Fuck. You're doing all right. Don't let us down. You know, you're making this look good. I'm ending it now, by the way, but I just wanted to get this last sentence. You're making this look good. It's looking good. Aside from a couple of issues, it's playing pretty good. You can easily fix those issues. Aside from a couple of missing textures, it's looking good. You're on your way to redemption. You are on your way to redemption. However, don't get too cocky. Just remember, you've now got me and a lot of other people excited, Activision. You've won us over. And now that you've won us over, everybody, if you fail with this, if you fail, there's gonna be blood. There will be blood, Activision. So now that you've proved that you can make good shit, you've got to work extra hard to follow through with that good shit. It's looking good right now, but your finished product, it really needs to live up to the expectations that are being provided by the community, or you're done. Like this is your last chance, Activision. I can see, it's clear that Activision knows it's its last chance, and it is putting a lot of time and effort into making this good. So yeah, this is, from how excited people are, if this lets people down, Activision's done. This is now do or die for them, but it seems like it's not going to be a die, it's going to be a do, and maybe they will scrap. I mean, they're cancelling Skylanders, and Infinite Warfare was a piece of shit that didn't sell any copies, so maybe they are going to scrap Call of Duty and Skylanders and actually go back to basics, back to the roots, and a new leaf. I think they can. I think they actually are going to pull it out, which I am loath to say, considering my displeasement that I have for that company. But there you go. So again, thank you to all you commenters, all of you tweeters that tweeted me the different games that have come out over the PSX, and all of the different games you want me to cover, and sending me like the intro on YouTube. Thank you to Photon, who is currently on the floor right now, giving me some inside information. And thank you to Nuke Dupcom for this footage. Again, his channel will be linked below, so you can go check that out. And seeing as Photon is on the shop floor giving footage now, I'm also going to link my buddy Photon as well. So first two lines of the description will be check out Nuke Dupcom for the footage, and Crash. And obviously, definitely check out Nuke Dupcom, because this is his footage and he does his own analysis. It's not as long as mine, like his only lasts 19 minutes. Mine's been going for 46, but I really felt like, you know, I grew up in this area. I grew up with Crash and, you know, the Spyro. I was in the PlayStation 1. I was there when it all began. So this obviously holds a very special place in my heart, and I did have to go in depth. Like Parappa the Rapper, my friend Alexander, he played the shit out of Parappa the Rapper. I played Parappa the Rapper once. I thought it was alright. I liked it, but I wasn't in the Parappa the Rapper side. So when we cover the Parappa the Rapper footage, I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to be a little bit like, oh yes, it's a little bit nostalgic for me. But I never got into that game. It wasn't my thing. It wasn't part of like the childhood. So it'll probably just be a quick 15-20 minute video. Whereas Crash was a big influence. Crash was quite a big part of the childhood, and it's like, seeing him come back in HD, it's one of them special moments that, you know, all you kids that think this is a new game, you're not gonna have this experience for a long time till like Ape Escape 2 gets re-released on the PS6. But when you get there, kids, you'll know what I mean. You'll understand how it's kind of like a special moment seeing my boy Crash here in full HD come back from the grave. Now if only I could do that. Please, Activision. Please. Anyway, thank you all for watching this analysis of the Crash footage. Thank you to my buddy Photon and Nuke Dukem. I'll leave links to them below. Definitely check them out. If you enjoyed this video, do please feel free to leave a like. It does help the channel out. And of course, please let me know what you thought of the cinematics and the gameplay. What are you thinking on the Crash HD trilogy so far? Is it got you worried? Has it got you excited? Do leave a comment below. Let me know how you feel, and I'll be certain to respond to all of them. If you enjoyed this video and can't wait to see more of the PlayStation Experience coverage, then do please feel free to subscribe. We have got Parappa the Rapper coming up later on today, and of course there are links below to my Twitter and my Patreon if you do want to follow me and see all the other stuff I'm doing, or with Patreon support this channel even further. But of course you don't have to. But for now, thank you all for watching. I'm getting more YouTube comments, so I'm going to go check them out, and I'll see all of you in the next one.